How you doing, guys? Welcome back to number 3 of A Look Behind the Post. Today, my guest is Joe Jackson, a long-time friend. It was actually the first time we've met on camera, and so I've been really looking forward to this one to get to know the man a little bit better. So I'm not going to talk too much. We're just going to jump into it. How are you doing, Joe?
I'm doing good, Alan. How are you?
Thanks for coming on, pal. I really appreciate it. I've been, as I said, I'm really looking forward to this because I think we've been Facebook friends forever, and we talk a lot, maybe in the groups and stuff. But I don't think we've ever had a one-on-one kind of conversation like this. So I'm looking forward to getting to know you a bit. You're all the way from Illinois, right? Is it Illinois?
Indiana.
Because I tell you what I'm thinking of doing. I was only thinking of it last night. I'm going to put a map behind me, and I'm going to put a pin every time a guest comes on. I'm going to put a pin where they are and try and take over the world with pins.
Yeah, I'm right in the center of Indiana, Indianapolis.
That's kind of a horsey country, is it? Have I got that completely wrong?
Of course, we got a lot of farms.
Yeah.
A lot of farmland around.
Yeah, well, actually, I'll let you give a little bit of background because I know there's a little bit of farming kind of history. Which I know you mentioned you had a barn. Oh no, sorry, it was a bar. It wasn't a barn, was it?
Yeah, I had a bar for a little while.
Yeah. Well, why don't you just let the people at home just know a little bit more about you?
Okay, fine. I come out of the active Navy and went to work for the Navy as a civilian back in the mid-'70s, and ended up retiring from that career when I was 46 years old. Mainly because certain circumstances worked out that I was able to retire. I retired a little early. And I left that career, and then I went into, I bought that bar called McShane's. It was an Irish bar, and I had it for a few months, but I kind of decided I was on the wrong side of that bar. Right. That's the hardest work I believe I've ever done in my life. So I left that, and I did a stint as a pest control technician for a couple of years, and quit that, and then I went full-time online marketing, and I wrote a couple of books about the pest control, and I got them on Amazon Kindle now, and I've been pretty much since that time. That was back in 2002, I believe it was. And I ended up incorporating in 2007. And I've just been working at different things since then. I've got a lot of affiliate websites that I market remote control toys, scuba diving equipment, and pest control products, and my books. And then I got I put this internet marketing thing, make money online thing, niche off for a long time, and I finally got with Steve Dordill and started into it from there. I had a few network marketing businesses back through the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And I did pretty good with a couple of them. I did very bad with a few of them too. So, it's up and down there. But I didn't want to get back into that when I went online. So that's why I went with my own products and doing affiliate marketing.
So back in the day, was that more kind of like belly to belly marketing? Like you had to like knock on doors or?
No, I never did knock on doors. I did door hangers for a while,
right.
A few of those, but I never actually knocked on doors. I'm not the kind of person that likes to make phone calls and do that kind of thing.
I think your computer's having a heart attack there, Joe.
Yes. Let me unplug this one.
Oh, you're good. There's no panic.
I think it's one of my external drives that keeps doing that.
No worries.
Maybe not.
Obviously, you don't have any fear of mice or anything like that if you're in pest control.
No, not really.
Oh, I'm terrified of them. If there was like a baby mouse, like I'm gone. There'd be an Allen-shaped figure in the door, go straight through it. I
I'm gonna
can't do
go ahead and set this other computer down so it doesn't do that. That's a different computer.
that. You're all right. These things happen. That's the beauty of working from home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you married, Joe?
No, I'm in a relationship. We've been together for over 25 years.
Oh, yeah, you might as well be married.
Yeah, pretty much.
She must love you to put up with you.
Well, I think she finds it hard sometimes.
Oh, I think everyone finds it hard to put up with us men. We don't, because we don't grow up. Our
Yeah.
toys get bigger.
That's pretty true.
Yeah, I see the picture behind you of the Corvette. I'm a bit of a car guy. I love the Corvettes.
Yeah, I've had a few of the classics over time. I had a '69 Corvette for a while. And cool.
I'd love one, but we don't have the roads for them here in Ireland.
Yeah.
No, I'd love a Dodge Charger, but they're too big. It wouldn't fit down the streets here.
Yeah. When I had the bar, I actually had a gal come to me and say that her father had died, and he was an Irishman. And back in the '50s, he had taken a trip. I think he originally came from Ireland, but in the '50s he revisited and did some driving, and he took pictures of the roads over there, and he had a couple of them blown up to real big. I don't remember the size of them now, but they were the Irish countryside, and it showed. One of them had driving along the road. It looked like he'd stopped alongside and taken a picture of the road, and it didn't look like it was very wide.
No. A lot of the country roads are tiny. Obviously, in the '50s it would have been especially small. But I know now we have our motorways and all that kind of stuff. But most of the country roads are still very small.
Yeah.
With a modern car, you have to stop maybe and let someone by, or they make them one way.
Yeah, I never made it to Ireland. I've been to Scotland and England, but when I was my last few years working for the Navy, I was in quality engineering, and it was avionics equipment, and I had a few visits over to England to visit contractors that were building products for us.
Yeah.
And
did you get to see much of the world doing that, Joe?
Do I now?
Did you get to see much of the world doing that?
Yeah, I did. I got to on one of the trips there to England. I actually had a day free that I was able to drive to Stonehenge and visit that. But yeah, I've done a lot of most of my out of the U.S. visits were Canada and England. I had one coworker went to Israel on a trip, and another coworker went to Australia. I didn't get to do any of those kinds. But England and Canada were the only ones that I was able to get to visit outside of the U.S.
Well, if you ever make it to Ireland, I've got a bed for you. You're more than welcome.
Yeah. Okay. It's a place I've always actually wanted to visit there, and Australia both, but just hasn't worked out.
Australia is beautiful. If I had a choice between Ireland and Australia, Australia would win hands down.
Yeah. I'd love to get over there and dive the Great Barrier Reef.
Yeah, it's beautiful over there.
Yeah.
I really liked it. Well, I spent just about a year there, but they make time for everything. It's not just like in Ireland, most people would just go to work, come home, they might eat, sleep, and then they're back to work. But over there, everyone has, everyone will have a hobby. They just make time for everything. Like Tuesday nights, at cinema night, we've got bowling night. It's very like family orientated. Whereas in Ireland, we're kind of I think we hide away from a lot. And we're just kind of busy, got to go to work. But I suppose I didn't want to be like that. That's why I started online. But probably something similar to yourself. It's just something different.
Yeah, yeah. I took a little time off after I retired, and I decided, the couch potato life didn't appeal too much to me. So
No, well, you were what, 46 when you retired? Is that what you said?
46. I turned 48 a couple months later.
Yeah, that's quite early for retirement, isn't it?
Pardon?
It's quite early to retire.
Yeah, yeah. Like I say, it was a special set of circumstances that let me do it, and I could have stayed on with the Navy and transferred to a different facility.
Yeah.
But I decided I'd go ahead and take the retirement and do something different. So
You've certainly done that.
Yeah.
What do your friends think about you working online?
Actually, I've been doing it so long now, I don't have any active friends. That's one of the problems you kind of run into, You're working by yourself, and I took one of the bedrooms in my house and turned it in my office, and I just sit in here by myself most of the time working on a computer. I don't think people really understand what I'm doing.
I know. I remember a few months ago, I was talking to my sister about, I can't remember what it was, but eventually I kind of steered it to online. Well, I ended up talking to everyone about it. But she was looking a bit confused and said, you do know what I do online, right? And she kind of paused and just looked at me and went, numbers? And I was like, no, it's not numbers. And we just swiftly moved on. But yeah, I think people get a weird impression when you say you work online, or they don't really understand it.
Yeah, they don't. They don't. They think you're not. They think you're playing. They don't think you're working.
Yeah, you're just playing some games. Or do you think you're gambling?
Yeah.
No, but you always have friends. You've got 5,000 friends in a group called Yellow Brick Road. We're all there.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah. But that's not a face-to-face thing. It's a little bit different.
It is, but I think I've probably made more friends through Yellow Brick Road than I had in my personal life, and certainly ones that I would trust more, which is probably
Yeah, there is that. There are a lot of people. Well, actually, I have a lot of friends that I've met through scuba diving and scuba diving club and that sort of thing. So it's a little bit, but the online friends thing's a good bit different than face-to-face type.
Yeah. Well, that's why I wanted to start this show, because even like we would have commented on each other's posts for probably close to 2 years, and we've never had a real conversation. So it's been enjoyable for me, to jump on and actually get to know who's posting.
Yeah, actually, I thought when you first mentioned it, it was a good idea to do something like this. It's a different, it's more kind of like a conversation type of presentation, and even more so than the YBR Wednesdays, because it's just two people face to face and kind of over the camera. But
I get terrified in front of the camera. My chest gets real tight and I got kind of choked up. So I needed a way to force myself to make the videos. So the best way for it was to put it on someone else. And you clearly have no fear of video, but if someone did, then it's an easy way for them to make their first one, and it makes me sit here in front of the camera and put it out.
Right. I think I'm more comfortable in a situation like this where we're talking back and forth than I am just making a video of something. I tend to script my videos, and then I end up reading them on camera, and although they're written in my voice pretty much, I come across as very serious, I think. And Mark's mentioned it, where it sounds like he said that one time I did one of the testimonials I did for him. He said it sounded like I'm reading it, and
of course you
I kind of am, you know, because I script it beforehand, and so, but you just I don't know. I don't loosen up when I do a script like that. I've kind of think I need to get away from that, and
yeah, it's something that
Colin was talking about. Get into the just kind of ad-libbing rather than scripting.
Yeah, well, I remember at the start I used to try and script them, but I could never. I'd end up stumbling over more words because I'd be going, well, how am I going to fit that other piece in? And eventually, you're just staring at the camera, then you're not saying anything. So I just sit down now and press record, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah. I think I'm beginning to think that's a better way to go. I always had my script sitting there on the screen, and I could check it out, but you just don't come across as being natural when you do that. And I think being presenting yourself naturally is a much better way to do things, a better presentation.
Yeah, that's why I think like these are just conversations. They just happen to be recorded, and it's nice for other people to see them, or maybe people are interested. I don't know, but I'll keep making them. If as long as people want to come on with me, I'll keep making them.
Yeah, well, you know, I imagine you're going to have a pretty good list of people. There are a number of them. They're just in Yellow Brick Road who would be great for something like this.
Yeah, but a lot of people, especially ones that would be maybe a little bit quieter, they go, "Yeah, I'd like to do that." But then when they get that message saying, "Oh, hey, I'm free tomorrow," it's when they go, "Oh, no, I can't do it." So it's just that's what I'm here for. I'm gonna hold their hand and just pull a little conversation out of them.
Yeah.
Because you come across lovely on camera. Like you're not serious, and your posts aren't serious. You post a lot of funny stuff.
Oh yeah. I've been accused of being a comedian a few times.
Well, you'd have to be if you bought an Irish bar. You'd have to be.
Well, yeah. Actually, that bar was very popular Irish bar back in the 70s and 80s. And when I bought it in the 90s, the community was no longer Irish, so it wasn't. I bought it with the idea of bringing the Irish pub atmosphere back, but the community by that time had changed the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really able to do that, so I had to be a little different, more just to try and do a neighborhood bar, but it didn't work out like I wanted it to.
Yeah, I'd imagine running a bar is probably one of the most stressful things you could ever do.
Oh yeah, you got to put in a lot of hours. You know, basically, if it's open, you pretty much got to be there.
Yeah.
And I found it was very difficult to keep help. You know, employees. I'd hire a bartender, for instance, and they tell them, okay, be here tomorrow, and they wouldn't show up.
Yeah.
And one time I hired a waitress, and she came in for a week, and I never seen her again. She never even came back to get a paycheck.
No way. You might see this and come back now, Joe. You owe me $80.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not a big drinker, so I'd be the worst customer in your bar unless you had some nice food. But yeah, I remember seeing a video of another online marketer who owned a bar, and he took them back to the spot and kind of showed people around. But the way he described it just seemed like the most stressful thing on the planet. I just wondered why people, when you think about online business and then traditional brick and mortar business, the stress levels are huge in brick and mortar businesses compared to online business.
Yeah, they really are.
But obviously I can see your board behind you. You plan everything out?
Oh, actually, I do. I just, when I get an idea in my head, I'll jot it down on the board, and so I don't lose it.
Yeah.
I tend to lose things real quick if I don't make a note of them.
I should get myself one of them. I'm very forgetful.
Yeah.
I'm too easily distracted. I think if I'm working on one thing, I have to try and block everything else out.
Oh yeah, I understand that.
I'm a bit like a squirrel. I'm just like, ooh, look at that.
Yeah, I get that way. I get hung up on Facebook. I got so many grandkids and great grandkids, and by this time, and I'll get to looking through their posts, and by the time I know it, the day's almost done, and I've actually got nothing accomplished.
Yeah.
It's difficult sometimes to get away from that.
Yeah, but I've learned. I had I wasn't the best. I had a bit of a break, so I wasn't feeling the best. So I literally turned everything off for about 2 months, and I felt better not being on Facebook. Um, I think it's a drain on people.
Yeah, yeah, I think it is too. I seen yesterday afternoon. I seen a post that, or no, actually, it was on the news this morning. They were talking about how people who leave Facebook, get away from it, are happier.
Yeah,
They're not happy.
they certainly are.
They're not happy.
Yeah,
I don't. I guess it's all it might be all of the political junk that's on there, and the back and forth.
I think people come to expect, oh, I'm going to put this up, and I need to get 50 likes, or I need to whatever. And then when they don't get them, they're like, well, what's wrong? Was that picture wrong? Or well, I shouldn't have shown that, or I shouldn't have said that. And then it starts to build anxiety, I think, in people's heads. Whereas you just need to be you. And I know it's different if you're using it for business purposes to connect with people. I think people forget that everyone's real.
Yeah, yeah. I have a excuse me. I have a group page on, and also have a business page. And the business page I post to about every day, but the group pages haven't done anything on there for a long time, and it really never took off. So I've kind of abandoned it, I guess. But
Yeah.
my business page, I'm pretty active.
Yeah,
I visit at least once a day. And
Facebook took my business page away.
It did.
Yeah, because I had an ad for cryptocurrency, and remember they had the kind of the ban block a few months ago.
Yeah.
So even when they lifted it, I appealed it, and it was a no. So, but I haven't set a new one up.
Huh.
So I think, I don't know. I'm not a Facebook fan. I like obviously like Futurenet and YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of like to see Futurenet get less spammy.
Yeah, I think it will over time. Because everyone that's coming in early now are mostly online marketers, so that's all we post.
Right.
I've noticed that if I put an ordinary picture up of like if a few months ago I went to this waterfall with Ashley, and obviously I put the pictures on Facebook, and I was like, oh, I'll just put them on Futurenet. The amount of engagement I got on that, because it was just a normal post. It wasn't here, click the link, and all that kind of stuff. So people are hungry for just ordinary content on Futurenet.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I seen a couple of posts recently about Facebook maybe is going to start charging.
Yeah, I
see that as a big boon for Futurenet. If they start doing that, I already know a lot of people are going to leave there.
Yeah, well, the one I read was in the New York Times, and it was kind of explaining that Facebook had made some bad decisions over the years. Although it's worth millions and billions of dollars, that to sustain itself, it would need to charge the user $5 a month, which is I'd never paid to use Facebook ever.
Right. I've bought advertising, but on Facebook, but doing boosting posts and such. But as far as paying to be on there, I probably will just move over to Futurenet exclusively.
Well, I'm on Futurenet every day anyway. I think I'm starting to spend more time over there than I do on Facebook.
Yeah, I think it would be good for most of us just to start doing that, because you're still going to need a presence on Facebook.
Yeah,
for a while at least, because that's where people are.
Yeah,
but
I think over time that balance will shift.
Yeah,
obviously we're some early adopters, so I think we'll do well, Joe. What actually what when Futurenet first came out, what kind of drew you to it?
Well, actually, I was at the time following Steve because him and I had a pretty good working relationship there, and you know, I came from we went through Automated Wealth Network,
Yep,
and then Traffic Monsoon, and another one, Beyond Push, I think it was called.
Push, yeah.
We went, but we just moved. I just followed him into Futurenet, and then you know, I got to where I was liking Futurenet. After a while, I was a little leery at first because of Traffic Monsoon. I didn't know that I wanted to get into another rev share type, but at the time, Futurenet didn't have one.
Yeah, that's right.
So I was just, you know, I just getting into the social media platform of Futurenet.
Yeah.
And then they came out with with Futurenet Pro, and I thought, well, I'll give it a try and we'll see. But then as I watched and I seen that they weren't depending on just the advertising income for Futurenet Pro to pay their commissions, I thought, well, okay, this should work out all right. So I just hung in there and I've been staying with it.
Yeah, I like it for the transparency. When there's a problem, the owners come straight on a Facebook Live, or there'll be a message somewhere saying, you know, this is being fixed. We know about it. There's no way. I never worry. You know, and I've worried in other companies, you know, if you were going to get paid on time or if you were going to get paid at all. But I never get that fear with Futurenet.
Yeah, I would say with my before I came into this niche, most of my online stuff was, like I said, affiliate marketing and physical products and digital products. Some that I created myself, and I was into, and I still, it's not something I've given up, but I like to buy things and products in bulk and list them on Amazon.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I over there, it's a lot like a brick and mortar. You know, it all depends on how you market it, whether or not you're going to succeed at it. Of course, Futurenet friends trees are the same way, but over there, if you've got the right product and you're putting it on, making it visible, because Amazon helps you advertise anyway.
Yeah.
Then you'll do all right. So it's not like you say there. It isn't a concern as to whether or not you're going to get paid. You know, because if you earn the money, it's going to go into your bank account.
Yeah.
It doesn't depend on, you know, those companies are going to, like Amazon, it's going to be there.
Yeah.
And they're going to pay their associates.
Yeah. I think, well, especially I've started to put Futurenet in that kind of bracket, just because they've never let anyone down. In what is it, like 6 years? It's grown to over 4 million members. It's getting to a stage now where you know, people are going to start to understand the brand of Futurenet. Right.
And they've got so many things going on. It's I find sometimes that it's hard to even keep up with what they're working on, what they're doing.
Yeah, well, that's so many projects. I'm going to, once the new platform launches, I'm going to be doing daily videos and doing my best to kind of make it, you know, a little bit of Futurenet news, and then this is my business, and you know, see what happens.
Yeah. I did for a while. I did a lot of studying in the copywriting field, and I took a number of courses for that. And from what I've seen, a good mix is when you're talking about your videos on the marketing or on Futurenet, one of the important things I've seen or I've learned is that if you keep a content that's useful, highly useful content for like 2/3 of your presentation,
Yeah.
and then maybe your marketing side like a third of it. So you're putting out more stuff that people want to see, like to see, and that they can use. And then every once in a while you just plug your business link
Yeah.
in there to let them know that there's a way for them to join in with and use that content, that useful content that you're putting out.
Yeah. That's well. Mark was telling me something similar with this show. Just
Yeah.
at the end of it, I'm not sure what way to work it in, or even if it should be worked in yet. But we'll, these shows will continue to evolve, I guess, as we all get better.
Right.
But you know, you mentioned that you had books on Kindle.
Right.
Is that something you do yourself?
Yeah, they're books I've written.
Yeah. But do you publish them yourself to Kindle? Is that how that works?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're Amazon has in their Kindle platform, they have the software tools that you can use to take, like, I'll write a book in Open Office,
Right.
and then I'll convert it to PDF to market on my website. But with Amazon, they have software where you can take that text and plug it in, and it turns it into a Kindle book.
Yeah. No,
and then you just list it for sale.
Yeah, I've come across it before, but I was never sure how to do it. So
yeah, I have also a number of different programs that do the Kindle conversion, and
right.
Convert text to Kindle format. So I don't always use the Amazon, but I did hear a while back. I have one great grandson who, when he was 2 or 3 years, I think he was 2 years old, and his father, when he was 16, I took him. We got him certified in scuba diving. Well, so when this great grandson was 2 years old, we go scuba diving, and he's riding along. He says, "I'm going scuba diving," like. So I ended up taking a picture of him in a wetsuit and with a fins and mask on, and a snorkel, and then I wrote a little short children's book with the title "I'm Going Scuba Diving," and with a B in diving instead of the V, and I've got it on Kindle now, and that's my latest.
I know how to find it now.
That's my latest. But I was gonna charge a small fee for that, just something like a couple $3, but turned out that the Kindle platform wouldn't let me charge. I think I had to end up charging $7 for it. Was the minimum they let me.
Yeah.
And so I was a little disappointed about that. It's not really a long book, but I do have my other books. I've got one book that I wrote on self-improvement, and I wrote that back in, I think I wrote it in the 90s. But back then, every month I wrote a newsletter to my grandchildren, and I sent it all my grandchildren, and I'd write different things I'd been doing that month, and at the time I was very avid in kayaking.
Yeah, I kayak myself. I go actually all the time.
Yeah, I would take and there's a particular creek here in Indiana. It's called Sugar Creek, and it runs down through 2 Indiana state parks. And at least once a year, I'd go out and I'd put my kayak in, and I'd take about 5 days, and each night I'd stop on the sandbar and pitch a tent, and just sometimes I'd fish, A lot of times I just take pictures. And over that 5 days, I would kayak about 30 miles.
Wow.
About what the trip was. But I did that originally. I did it in a canoe that I built myself, and I built that back in '75, I think. Then I ended up buying kayak and gave the canoe to my son. And but every year, originally it started out because I was working. It started out as over the 4th of July weekend. I would go down through the creek about 30 miles, but then I only take 3 days to do it, which is good. But after I retired and I moved to the kayak, then I got to the point where I decided, well, I'm going to take 5 days and do it. So I'd stop. Sometimes I stop and spend a day in one spot because I like the spot and just want to stay there.
It was a good view or just a nice spot to fish?
Do what?
You'd stop just because it's a nice view or a good place to fish?
Both. Either one worked. But in my newsletters that I was writing for my grandkids, I would tell them about my experiences on the creek. I would tell them, and during my time working for the Navy, I did a lot of conventions, self-improvement, personal improvement conventions, and that kind of thing. So I'd write to them about what I'd learned from those, and all that eventually turned into my self-improvement book that I wrote, and when I went to put that together, I thought, well, I've got all this content that I've been writing to the grandkids, and it all applies pretty much.
Yeah.
So use that.
It's a really nice idea for your grandkids. It's even the next generation that comes, they're going to have that.
Right. They have that. I haven't done that for a while, but and I don't think that all of my grandkids actually read it.
Yeah.
But I do know that my daughter, every month, my daughter would sit down with her kids and they would read that every month as soon as they got it. So
yeah.
She used that as part of she homeschooled her kids.
All right, that's cool.
So I don't know if she actually made that part of the curriculum or
yeah.
or not, but I know she did read it. They did sit down and they'd read that newsletter every month.
Yeah, well, the grandkids probably look forward to it now.
Pardon?
Your grandkids probably look forward to it now every week. You're sitting down.
No, I don't send it to them anymore. I haven't done that for a while now. I got away from it because I got so busy doing other things that I no longer do it. I suppose I could send it to the great grandkids, but my grandkids have it there. They can share it with their kids.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's going to continue to be shared, which is really nice. You don't hear any stories like that. Right. They
didn't all value it, I don't think, but I know my daughter's kids did.
Yeah, but and well, it's not. I don't want to make it a sad thought, but sometimes these things aren't valued until you're gone, and then everyone will want it. I don't want to be more there, but you know what I mean. Things are usually appreciated more after the fact.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I know. I remember Jim Rohn. I used to listen a lot to him, and he talked about keeping a journal. And everywhere he went, he bought the leather-bound blank journals. And everywhere he went, anytime he'd think of an idea or something, he would write it down. And he talked one time about being in a town where he was on business, and he was out walking one day, and he heard music, the choir singing from a church. So he went in, and he sat down. He got to listening, and he listened to the sermon. Well, the whole time that he was listening, he was writing stuff down because he was getting ideas. And he said people were looking at him, and he's sitting there writing, and then he says, they kept looking at me, but I got it. I got it all right here in my book, my journal. And he said, my journal is very private. He says, people won't see it, but it's all there. And I suppose that after he died, you know, I imagine his kids probably seen what was in his journals. But,
yeah, and it's probably really nice for them to have.
Yeah.
Jim Rohn's quite a charismatic man, I would have said. Certainly he had a lot of stage presence.
Right.
And he had a huge following. So I'd imagine getting a look inside of his journals would have been extremely interesting.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of value in those things.
Yeah. There's going to be a few nuggets there that no one even got to hear him say, or.
Right.
But is it just you've one son and one daughter? Is it?
Yes. I have two, and my lady has two, and each of us have a son and a daughter.
Yeah, that's cool. So you just had Thanksgiving. So would you have had a big family over for Thanksgiving? Would they all come and see you?
No, not normally for Thanksgiving. I go out to Arizona to my mother's, and I wasn't able to do that this year. So we just went to one of her nieces, my lady's nieces, went to her house and had Thanksgiving this year. we usually have a big get together here for Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
This year, I think instead we're going to go down to Kentucky, and that's where her daughter lives, and all of her kids. So we'll probably go down there. It looks like for Christmas, and just spend Christmas in Kentucky.
That sounds like a plan. I'd have to go to my mom's for Christmas dinner. It's the only time I eat my mom's cooking is Christmas dinner. The rest of the year we give it a pass. And when it comes to online, like, do you have a big goal or anything, or is it just to keep going?
Actually, I like to travel, and so my online work mainly is I got this thing about I've got an RV, a motorhome, and I just I'm all about if I get an urge to go someplace, just walk out the RV and get in and start the engine and go, you know, that kind of thing. That's mainly why my whole business was based around mobility. Yeah. And that's why I love the online thing, because I can take a laptop and a hotspot and I can work from no matter where I'm at, anywhere. Although some places the hotspot doesn't connect, and pretty much satellite signal for that. But
well, it's a similar dream that most people have, but very few have that freedom that they can actually do it. So you've done something right if you can jump in the RV and go.
Yeah. We spend every year in May we go down to Kentucky to a campground, and we'll spend 3-4 weeks there, however long we decide. When we decide it's time to go, we just go. But we're always there, usually 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's the same way with Arizona. You know, we go out there and spend 3 or 4 weeks most of the time. We usually go down there like second week of November and come back first or second week of December is normal for that trip.
Yeah, that's the real joy of working online. Like you say, you just put your laptop in. You can use your hotspot off your phone, even if you had to.
Right.
You go. Where is it?
Well, I do carry little hotspots. There's one of them right there.
Yeah.
That's Freedom Pop. I don't use it anymore, but I've got one with Virgin Mobile.
Yeah, I didn't know about those. It was only a few months ago I seen Ron Connolly post. He was going to work from the beach for a week, and he bought this thing. Because I normally, if I was away from home, I use my mobile phone and turn it into a hotspot. But obviously they work a little bit slower than what anyone would be used to. So to have that hotspot's probably better.
Yeah, these excuse me, these hotspots that I use, I just strictly hotspot and if I can get a signal, I can connect. Sometimes it's a little weak, so it'll be slow. But I usually the version mobile I use most of the time, because that one I don't have to have a contract, so I can just activate it whenever I'm getting ready to go someplace.
Yeah. So it's like a pay-as-you-go thing, is it?
Yeah. I don't know what it is now. Originally, it was like, $40 for so many gigabytes, 6 gig or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Just a lot of Facebook time.
well, actually, when I'm on the road, I don't really spend a lot of time online, because I'm seeing sites.
Yeah.
But for things like working with logging into Futurenet Pro and taking care of business there, that doesn't take up a lot of data. So that 6 gig will last me usually while I'm gone.
Yeah.
And now, if I went full time, then if I was full time RV, then I'd be here for a week and headed someplace else for the next week probably, or every few weeks, because I'd want to have enough time in one spot to see the scenery. But then I would probably have a full time hotspot.
Yeah.
And Verizon has one of those, which
is that what you'd like to happen in the future?
That's something that I've it's been one of my goals for a long time, just full-time RV. But it's difficult because I have the house here, and I keep playing around with the idea of maybe renting it out, and I already know that can be a headache too, but like the bar was.
Yeah. Probably less of a headache than the bar, but yeah, probably a headache nonetheless.
Yeah, because people just don't take care of your property. They don't, if you're lucky, you can get somebody who actually does. But
is there agencies or anything I know in Ireland here, you can give your home to an agency and they take care of everything.
Yeah, there are real estate agents that will manage it for you. There are actually property management businesses that I could have take care of it. And I've thought about that too. I just haven't gotten to the point where I made that decision.
Well, hopefully it's coming soon for you.
Yeah, it's a thought.
Yeah, it's a good thought though. So I know, like when I was in Australia, and I think America's quite the same, because they're massive. Like you'd never, even if you dedicated your life to it, you'd probably still never see everything.
Right. And that's why, I used to, when I was working for the Navy, I did a lot of flying. I was on a plane probably just about every week. I was going somewhere, because that was the nature of my job. But now I like to drive, because there's so much to see that you miss if you're flying.
Yeah, big time.
Sure, it takes longer to get to, it takes me 3 days to get to, my mom's out in Arizona. But what I see, and every time I go the same route, but I always see something different.
Yeah.
And I'm always taking pictures along the way, and just the memories are just amazing. Memories never stop coming in new when I'm driving like that.
Yeah, well, that's I like going on long drives, and it's probably the only time I'm 100% relaxed, because there's nothing else to think about. Only whatever's in front of you and whatever comes to you.
Right.
So your memories, you go, oh, I remember we stopped over there, and obviously if you're with someone, you'll have a conversation about it, and it's nice. And just nothing else matters. There's no phones, there's no laptops, nothing. Just
right. It gives you ideas too. Gives me ideas of things to write when I'm out traveling like that.
You'll have to get one of those leather-bound books.
Right.
Gotten.
Yeah. There's a lot in my self-improvement book. There's a lot of content that comes from my kayaking on the creek, you know, it's just watching, like one point I was just drifting along. I like to do that a lot, just not paddling, just let the creek carry me.
Yeah.
And I come around this corner and I happen to look up, and there's a bald eagle sitting on top of a tree, and he was watching me, you know.
Oh,
and so I wrote, there's some content in that book about that experience. So
well, actually, after this, I'm going to go look it up.
do what?
After this, I'm going to go look your book up.
Oh,
It's something
okay.
I didn't know you did.
Yeah, some of them are listed on. I have a website, joejackson.info, that lists some of the books. If you go there, you can find them, and they'll take you to Amazon.
Yeah, I'll put a little link under the video, Joe, and then maybe if someone's watching it, they'll go click to check it out.
Yeah, and if you see, I can't think of the term right off. There is a thing that Amazon has where if somebody's a member of it, they can go read these books for free.
Right. Well, maybe if someone's watching, they can let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be a huge online shopper. I like working online, but I tend not to buy too much online.
Yeah. I'm different. I try to do everything online nowadays.
Yeah. But it's crazy that you can have everything delivered to your door.
Right. Well, I don't do that necessarily. I do buy a lot of products on Amazon. But having things delivered to my doors, it doesn't quite fit in with the mobile mindset.
Yeah.
Right, you know, because I do have some nutritional products that are delivered on a automatic ship.
Yeah.
Every once in a while. Because when I made the order, I got a set price, and the price never goes up, and it's always free shipping too, because I'm on the auto ship. But when I go full time, that's going to become a problem. So I'm going to have to rearrange that, and I expect it'll cost me more to get the products.
Are using PO boxes and all that jazz.
Yeah.
No, but it's a good goal to have, just to be able to head off.
Well, I do belong to one RV club that I can have all my mail sent to their headquarters. They have a mailing department that will take the mail and send it to you wherever you're going to be. Just let them know where you're going to be next week, and they'll send all your mail to you. And that way you've got your address becomes the box in their mailing department.
Yeah, that's handy.
Yeah, you can. There are ways to do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or of course, I could probably always have it sent to my daughter's house or my son's house, and have them forward it on to me.
Yeah. But it seems like you have it all figured out. You just need to pull the trigger.
Yeah, well, it wasn't difficult to figure out because my parents were full-time RV when my dad died back in '97. They were living in a fifth wheel at the time, and they spent all their time, most of it out in Nevada, because Dad really liked playing casinos. So they go down to Laughlin, Nevada, and they spend a week there, and then they go up to Las Vegas and they spend a week there, and then they go to Pahrump, Nevada, and spend a week there, and then they go back to Laughlin, and they do that all winter long. Then in the summer, they'd come back to Indiana to my grandmother's house. Well, it's a house that they had bought for my grandmother.
Yeah.
To live in, and they come back so that they take care of. Dad to take care of cutting the grass and any maintenance that needed doing and stuff on the house. So full time, and their first RV was they bought new in '72. So they spent a lot of time in the RV experience, and I learned a lot from Dad for that. So it wasn't really difficult for me to figure out.
So you were young,
Absolutely.
a lot of RV trips, was it? Like that's how you would have
I
your.
did. I didn't do a lot. I did a few. Uh, One time I went out. They were in Los Alamos, New Mexico, for a lot of years, and I went out there and visited one time, and I took their RV up into the mountains for a few days. And another time we went out there, and I stopped at my brother's in Illinois, and him and I drove out to New Mexico, and well, we stopped on the way and picked up my sister in Colorado Springs, and then we went down to Los Alamos, and we got in the RV and drove to over to Vegas. And on the way back to Los Alamos, we stopped at the Grand Canyon for a night and spent the next day looking around there. Those were the only two actual times that I used, or no, actually there was one other time when I borrowed their RV when they were still living in Indiana, and I took it down to the Ohio River and went fishing for a while. But other than that, I didn't really use or ride with them in the RV.
Yeah.
But I just talking with Dad, I learned a lot of things from him on that.
And now obviously that knowledge gets passed down to your grandkids now.
Yeah.
You have to write an RV ebook. You've done the kayaking one.
Well,
Pass down your knowledge.
yeah, that's a possibility. I have kind of thought about that, but I haven't really. My mind gets going crazy, doing crazy things sometimes, and it gets so scattered that I can't. I have trouble focusing in on one thing.
Yeah. I get
all these different ideas, and they're all the time jumping in and bouncing out. And,
yeah.
So,
I think you have the right idea by writing it down, and then
right.
it's there. Because I do the same. I think of lots of things, and then there's a big difference between writing something down and actually going and doing it.
Yeah. That's that's something else I learned from Jim Rohn too. Though was when an idea gets in your head, have a notebook or something to write it down, because if you don't, you're going to lose it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I have like a memo pad thing on the phone, so I've started to use that. But you
I got it.
And record. You don't have to type it. You just record your voice.
Yeah, I used to carry a little mini recorder with me to do that. Nowadays, I've got a what's called a pocket briefcase. It's just a little leather pouch that holds 5x8 cards, and I just make notes on that.
Yeah.
And keep it in my hip pocket, and I grab it out. That and a pen back there, I grab it out, and when I get an idea or something, I just jot it down. So I got it.
Oh, it's a good idea. It's actually a good tip for anyone watching. But no, I've enjoyed talking with you, Joe. Obviously, I do a bit of kayaking myself, and I didn't know you were into that.
Oh yeah.
Well, I've never tried scuba diving, but it's on my list of must do's. But I bring Ashley to the lakes a lot. I've never done like rivers or anything like that with her yet. I thought she was too small, but if you were bringing your grandson when he was age 2, she's probably big enough.
Yeah, he's I think he's up around 10 now, actually, right around that age. No, he's not there yet. He's probably in first or second grade now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's. I don't think he's really into the scuba diving thing anymore, but he likes to swim.
Yeah, that's Ashley's the same. She's like a fish in the water.
Yeah, that's good.
It's one thing we wouldn't let her give up. Generally, like kids try a lot of different sports, and you want to do dance and you want to do this. Ashley never really would stick with anything more than a few months. But when it came to swimming, it was no, you're going, and but she loves it now. But I think only because she's good at it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I think junior lifeguard, I think, is like her next level. So I suppose for 8 years old is pretty good.
Right.
She's a far better swimmer than I am. Or she might save me one of these days.
Yeah, I started when I was pretty young too. I lived in New Jersey for 10 years when I was a kid, and there was a amusement park there in the town I lived in, and there was a swimming pool there. And I remember one summer my parents bought me a season pass to the pool, and I went every day. And I had at the time I had light red hair, and it actually turned green. I was in that pool so much that year.
I can't picture you with red hair.
Yeah, well, it's all kind of gray now.
You'll have to dig out a photo and post it in the group.
The one that's on my
your picture that comes on this Google has his red hair.
Yeah, it's an older picture. It's I don't know, but it's not that old, I guess. 3 to 4 years maybe.
I just seen it out of the corner of my eye when you were jumping on, but I didn't pay too much attention to it. I was like, oh, that's Joe.
Yeah.
All right. We'll wrap this up, and I'm going to go collect the little boss from school. But it's been really nice having you on, Joe, and it's really nice getting to know you.
Yeah, it's been good talking with you.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to do it again.
Yeah.
We'll go for part 2.
All right.
I somehow feel there's a lot more stories in there.
Yeah. You know, when I was young, I listened to coworkers, the older guys, the graybeards, and all the stories they'd tell, and you get to thinking, and we'd actually make jokes about it. That guy's lived. He's got so many experiences. He must have lived 10, 13 lifetimes, But now that I'm older, I understand how a person can actually have all those stories. If you live life, then you got stuff to talk about.
Yeah, that's the difference between living and not living.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
But it definitely sounds like you've led a very interesting life.
Yeah, I have.
I was really looking forward to talking to you because I didn't really know much about you. But
right. Well, my father was in electronics before me, and it got to the point where he did a lot of traveling around. And in 4 years, I went to 5 different high schools, and I eventually graduated in Florida.
Yeah. You're like a Rolling Stone. You just pop up places.
What was that?
You're like a bit like a Rolling Stone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
pretty much. I got that travel bug young.
It's a good book to have, though.
Yeah.
All right.
Some people don't care to travel as much as I do, but I always enjoyed it.
My dad's like that. My dad just wants to stay at home. He doesn't. They've just come back from Spain, but even to go there was like torture for him. Like, he was very stressed about it. He doesn't like getting on planes or boats or anything like that.
Right.
Ireland's very small. We can drive across the country, and like the longest you could probably go is probably 4 hours, and it's not very big at all.
Yeah.
You've got to go days and days before you actually get to where you're going.
Oh yeah, here you do.
Yeah.
I think it's like 3,000 miles across this country, from one coast to the other, east to the west.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's like 1,800 out to my mother's.
1,800.
1,800 miles from my house.
No way. That's a long way to go for dinner.
Yeah. That's why we usually spend 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, that's good. All right, Joe. Listen, if you're watching at home, folks, there's going to be some links under this video to get back to Joe's channels and Joe's Facebook if you'd like to connect with him. Maybe you want to ask him some questions on his ebooks. But Joe, it's been really nice having you on. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been good to be here.
No, let's definitely do it again. I think after a couple of these, I'm gonna do like kind of group ones. I'd love to get you on a group one. We all just kind of swap some stories and have a natter.
Okay. Yeah, I could probably talk a little bit with Colin about wildlife, huh?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like maybe the 10th one, it'd be nice to get some of the guests from the previous ones to jump on and actually get to meet each other, because we're all in the same circle of friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
As well as me getting to know everyone, it'd be nice if everyone got to have a chance to talk to everyone.
Right.
Just an idea.
That'd be good.
Just an idea. See how it goes. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. And again, you'll find Joe's links underneath. Or if you're watching on Joe's channel, give him a like, give him a subscribe. It's not easy to jump on and make these shows. So a little bit of support goes a long way. And until next week, I will see you then. Thanks, guys.